I like it, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes you're right up next to the truck before you see him. Yeah, looks like there's some greater kudu out ahead. There's also an okapi up on top of the hill there. And some bongos over here on the left-hand side. The bongos will be a little more difficult to see. They're all the way back in the trees there. We'll focus on the okapi and the greater kudu. The okapi are on the top of the hill, very distinguishable with the stripes on their legs. Look like zebra stripes. Very rare. Now, okapi are not related to the zebra. They're actually a relative of the giraffe. Don't stand nearly as tall, only about 5 feet tall at the shoulders. Now these animals that are closest to us here, these are greater kudu, the light tan animals with the white stripes. The greater kudu are the second tallest antelopes in Africa. They can weigh up to about 500 pounds. So there's a few more greater kudu just out ahead of us too. The greater kudu have that natural tan coloration, so they really blend in. They're almost the same color as the trees in the ground out here. That camouflage is their primary defense against predators. Just ahead of us, here's a watering hole, very important gathering place for the animals out here in the forest. Also, usually our best chance of spotting some of the rarer species like black rhinos. There's a black rhino over here on the left-hand side. We're going to go ahead and pause down here for a moment and have a really good view of them there. There's only about 5,000 black rhinos left on the planet. Nearly hunted to extinction for that horn there. Black rhinos can weigh around 3,000 pounds, charge up to a speed of about 35 miles per hour. Very fast for their size, but very poor eyesight, so really makes them susceptible to poaching and illegal hunting for that horn. It's another greater kudu top of the hill there. It's a female up there. The males are very distinguishable from the females, have really long horns that can grow out to a length of about 70 inches. Up ahead of us here, there's a couple of saddle-billed storks up on the hillside. They're sitting down so you can't see how tall they are, but they're actually one of the taller birds. They stand up to about 5 feet tall, have a wingspan of about 8 feet. Alright, we're going to continue on over the Safi River now. That'll be our best chance of spotting some hippos. Hippos are definitely one of the larger mammals. Newborn calves start off around 80 or 90 pounds, with the full-grown adults, they can weigh well over 5,000 pounds.
I need to see.
And because they're so large, they're going to spend most of their day in the water, submerged. Keep those bodies from overheating.
Me too.
There's a couple of hippos back behind us on the right-hand side. Kind of hard to see those. We'll move a little further up the trail, though. I think we can get a better view of the hippos out ahead.
Oh, right there in the water.
See the hippos just over here underneath the water on the left.
Oh, over here.
Oh, mommy!
Let's go a little further up the river. I see quite a few of them a little further up here.
Come up! Sherry, there's more up here.
There they are.
Oh, stop!
Wow, look at them. Hippos are large grazing animals. They eat about 150 pounds of grass every day. Usually they'll come out of the water in the evening when it's a little bit cooler out. On those banks. Really good swimmers though. They can stay underwater for about 8 minutes at a time. Wow.
Wow! Oh, mommy. She's floating around. Oh, my mom would love
see what else we can find. Sometimes the hippos will hang out by the waterfalls. I don't see any down there right now. I do see some crocodiles.
What?
These are Nile crocodile.
Alligator, Jared.
Yeah, the Nile crocodile growing a length of about 20 feet. Weigh over 500 pounds. Incredibly powerful jaws on the crocodiles.
They're very aggressive. Crocodiles.
Down on their prey with a pressure of about 2,000 pounds per square inch, able to crush bones with those jaws.
But they can't open their jaws. They have no
very
strength.
effective predators. They've been known to take down prey as big as wildebeest zebras. Well, we're going to leave the forest behind us now, continue out onto the savannah. Very different ecosystem out there. And we'll make our way over toward elephant country.
My battery, man. This is cool.
Now, one of the more unusual plant species out here on the savannah is the baobab tree, often referred to as the upside-down tree. They only have leaves for about 2 or 3 months of the year.
Where?
It's a good example of a baobab over there on the right-hand side.
Oh, is that real?
And they don't go too tall, but they get very thick at the base of the trunk, up to about 60 feet in diameter. So it can hold a lot of water in that trunk. Be ready for the drier seasons. Just out ahead of us here, this is my favorite view over the reserve. The savanna grasslands, they stretch for hundreds of miles across East Africa. It's like a super highway for millions of migrating animals. It's also home to some of the more famous ones like elephants and lions and giraffes. It's all part of the wild Africa that we're trying to conserve.
That's why I wanted to sit in the back.
Looks like there's some giraffes out there on the left-hand side. Giraffes are the tallest animals, can be about 20 feet tall, weigh over 2,000 pounds for the males. The females are typically a bit shorter, about 15 to 16 feet in height. You can see the giraffes over on the right-hand side now. We'll move a little further up the trail, and we should get a better view of those giraffes as we continue out ahead here. The savanna landscape, it is a result of the animals that live out here. They shape it.
Just driving this thing all day long.
Elephants are like bulldozers, knocking over a lot of these trees, eating leaves. Really opens up the area for the grasses to grow. Those giraffes are like pruning shears, though. They'll trim up underneath these remaining trees, open up some gaps in the canopy to let the light through. Follow the grazing animals, the gazelles, the antelopes, the elands. They'll come through here. They'll mow down these grasses, and they spread out the seeds that way.
I believe that.
And just over here on the left-hand side, there's a couple of smaller gray-brown animals out there. Those are waterbuck.
Where?
Waterbuck get their name from the fact they spend a lot of time in or near aquatic environments. They actually have an oily secretion over their fur that waterproofs them, so when they do get out of the water, they can dry out very quickly. And the giraffes are just out ahead of us here. And there are actually two types of giraffe out on the savanna, the Maasai giraffe and the reticulated. You can tell the difference between the two by looking at their spots. Have very different spotting patterns.
Look at the
And just out ahead of us here, these are Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffes have small spots that are really rough around
See
the
that
edges.
anteater hill?
The spotting pattern extends all the way down to their feet.
It looks like an anthill. That's
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
It's a little bit too close for me to stop, but we'll go by very slowly.
Hi, handsome.
Beside you.
What?
A really good view of her as we.
Hi.
Is that Jared Becker?
Perfecto.
Now, just ahead of us here, there is a baby Maasai giraffe lying down.
Oh, I see the difference in the
Maasai giraffes are actually all giraffes. They start off around 6 feet tall when they're born. This one's probably about 8 or 9 feet tall. He's sitting down though, so you can't see that height. He's still quite a bit smaller than the other giraffes out here. He's about a year old now.
Oh, look how precious. I want one.
See the difference between them?
Yeah.
He's got rolls.
Another Maasai giraffe, really close to the road.
There you go.
He's a bully. He gonna grow into that skin.
Nice and fat here.
You can see that tongue on the Maasai giraffes. They have very long tongues, usually about an inch of tongue per foot of giraffe. So they can have up to an 18-inch tongue. It gives them a lot of extra reach to get those leaves off the trees.
What are you doing?
Oh, look at him.
Oh, he's look at them lips. You know what I mean?
Just up ahead of us here, there's a number of animals up on the ridge. Ankole cattle, springbok. There's even another giraffe here. The Ankole cattle, you can just see their horns up there, up underneath the trees. Those horns grow out to about 5 or 6 feet in length. This really small animal here, that is a springbok. There's another one a little bit closer here. They only stand up to about 3 feet tall, so those are adults that we're seeing here. And up underneath the trees, that is a reticulated giraffe. Reticulated giraffes have very different spots than the Maasai giraffes. Large spots, very well defined around the edges. Look like little squares and rectangles. And those springbok, those get their name from the fact they can spring straight up in the air about 10 to 11 feet. They're really good jumpers.
Like it. The rhinos back there. Oh, that's a wildebeest. Ooh.
Just out ahead of us here, this large rock, we call that Monkey Point.
Monkey Point.
Gets its name from a troop of mandrills we often find out this way. Also heading into elephant country. Just want to keep your eyes open for those as well.
What is that? Oh, so the animals don't leave. It's probably electric.
Yeah, looks like the mandrills up on the rocks here on the left-hand side. Mandrills are the largest monkeys, can weigh up to about 100 pounds for the males.
Where we at?
Oh!
Females typically a bit smaller, about 35 to 40 pounds. Very distinguishable by the blue and red markings that you can find on their nose. There's another one right there. Right up underneath the trees. Really good view of that one.
Oh, wait, I get the picture.
Oh, there's also an elephant. Right-hand side.
Elephant.
Both the males and the females have those tusks. That's probably a male up there. Let's see if we can get another view of them a little further out ahead here.
Females have the tusks too.
Males tend to be loners. They leave the herd behind once they reach adulthood, so it's probably a male elephant that we're looking at here.
Tend to be
See all that
loners.
dirt and
They kick them out of
grass
the
on
herd.
his back there. Really just going to get a glimpse of him. He's going up to the
They kick
top of
them out
the
herd.
hill there into that box canyon.
So now we're not going to be
A
able to
little further up on the trail,
We can do about it.
over toward the red clay pits, and we'll see if we can find the rest of the herd out ahead. The elephants are actually very social animals, but it is a matriarchal society, so really the herd is just going to be comprised of the females and the adolescents. Now, I do have to slow down a little bit for the bridge here. It's one of the older bridges out on the reserve. It tends to creak and rattle as we cross it, but it is perfectly safe, so there's nothing to be really too concerned about. Whoa. Oh, hold on.
Oh, they're doing
Okay, we're all the way across.
it. It moved. No, it moved. It was
Dang it, I was like, oh.
special effects.
I agree with everybody in wrong.
Alright, we have reached the red clay pits here. You can see some elephant footprints in the mud down here. Let's see if we can find that herd out ahead. Yeah, it looks like they're a little bit further up on the left side there. You can see a couple. Well, one of them is pretty close here, but most of the elephants are a little bit further out in the distance there. We'll continue up the trail to see if we can get a little closer to them. The elephants, when they're born, they usually start off between 200 and 300 pounds.
He's pretty.
Spend the next 12 to 15 years of their lives with their mothers and the rest of the herd, learning all the social and survival skills that they need to know.
Well, maybe not.
Looks like they're down by the watering hole, up by that large baobab tree. Now, a great set of the elephants aren't humans poaching or illegal hunting targets for their tusks, which are made of ivory. They're also suffering from habitat loss. They are increasingly having to share their homes with humans.
That's a
in
nice
smaller
habitat for him.
See the adult female out behind that baobab tree there. You might notice that she's only got one tusk. Sometimes the animals will lose a tusk like this. They don't go back. It doesn't hurt the animal, but they do not go that missing tusk back. You also see a lot of dirt and mud on her back.
That's how they stay
The
cool
elephants
and
will throw that up.
insects.
There's a natural sunblock to protect themselves. They're very sensitive skin.
I wouldn't even have to be educated.
And those are the Ankole cattle over on the right-hand
Ooh,
side.
look at
You
his
see the
horn.
horns sticking out. Again, 5 to 6 feet in length on the horns for the Ankole cattle. It looks like there's some more elephants just out ahead of us here. Right down by the watering hole.
Oh, man.
Word yourself.
Average weight for an adult female elephant is around 8,000 pounds. You can see that she's flapping her ears out there. A lot of times the elephants do that to cool themselves off. They've got a lot of blood vessels in those ears, so when they flap them, they create some air circulation, able to dissipate heat that way. These are greater flamingos out on the island. Greater flamingos are the lightest colored of the flamingo species. Get that coloration from their diet of brine shrimp, which is high in carotene.
They get
Start out a pale gray color when they're born. Turns
shrimp.
about a year and a half into their lives.
They only
These
get
are
pink by
wildebeest,
shrimp.
top of the hill. Super great coloration there. Wildebeest, part of the largest migration on the planet. And just up underneath the tall grass
Wait,
here,
I
those
see
are Those are sable antelope. Their horns could grow out to a length of about 3 or 4 feet. Usually the more dominant animal will have the longest horns. Also a darker coat, so they really stand out from the rest of the group. Get another view of the elephants as we go by over there on the left-hand side. And just up around the bend here, there is a mud wall. It's pretty popular with the white rhinos. We're going to see if we can find a couple of those. White rhinos are quite a bit larger than the black rhinos. Weigh about 4,000 or 5,000 pounds on average. They can run up to about 35 miles per hour to charge, very fast. Doing a little bit better than their cousins, the black rhinos, but they are still suffering from poaching. Poachers target for their horns, which have a high value on the black market. Oh, there's one. White rhino, top of the hill. Right.
They got the wide mouth. He is so beautiful. Oh my god.
Man.
He is beautiful.
The horns on the white rhino is made of the same materials as your fingernails and your hair. They grow about 3 to 6 inches in length every year. There's a couple of white rhinos up on top of the hill over here on the right-hand side. You're really just going to get a glimpse of them through the trees, though. Kind of hiding out back there.
Oh yeah, I see them.
And straight out ahead of us here is a couple of cheetahs. Now the cheetahs are really low to the ground, so you're really just going to get a glimpse of them right up next to the tree here, bottom of the hill.
I see them.
Oh, baby.
Cheetahs are the fastest land mammals. They can run up to about 60 miles per hour in a sprint. Now they're unlike all the other big cats. They actually hunt during the day. They rely on their speed and their keen eyesight to be effective predators.
I wonder what they feed them. They give them like live rabbits and stuff. I don't know if I'd be...
Just out ahead of us here, coming up on the Copies, it's a large rock formation. It jets out above the savanna. Provides an excellent vantage point. Usually it's a good place to spot some of the, actually a number of species out here. See what we can find along the way here. Yeah, looks like some zebras and ostriches just out ahead of us here.
Somebody's coming out of that roof.
Oh, some more white rhinos out there too. Wow. Yeah, the white rhinos don't actually get their name from their coloration. They get it from their mouths. It's from the Afrikaans word "weit," which means wide. They have really wide mouths for grazing on the grasses.
Wide mouth? White rhino?
Those ostriches out there, they are the tallest birds. They can stand up to about 8 feet tall. And they're flightless, but they're very fast on their feet. They can run up to about 40 miles per hour.
Johnny's on the rocks.
And just ahead of us, left-hand side, there's a lioness all the way to the top of the rocks there.
Where? I don't see her.
Lions are
I
usually
see her.
inactive during the day. They spend about
Up
18 to
top.
20 hours just sitting about. When they hunt, they'll hunt at night, and it's the females that'll do most of the hunting for the group.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, she's all the way to the top. The lions are incredible leapers. They can jump up to about 20 feet in a single leap. So very easy for them to get up on top of those rocks.
It's a nice habitat.
Looks like some zebras and bontebok just out ahead of us here. The bontebok are the small brown and white animals. They're actually relatives of the wildebeest that are extinct in the wild.
Charging.
Where?
See
Look at the
zebras
eggs.
out ahead of
Look at
us
the
here.
ostrich
Striking
eggs.
pattern on the zebras is totally unique to each animal. It's like a fingerprint. The two zebras have the exact same stripes. And that ostrich is moving a little bit closer to us too there. Pretty good view of the ostriches there. The bontebok are right up against the road. Very distinctive horns on the bonteboks.
Come on, buddy, chase us.
Oh, he's mad. He's mad that we just went near his eggs. We went near his eggs.
Just out ahead of us here, right-hand side, is a herd of addax. The Addax are a critically endangered species from northern Africa, introduced to the reserve about 2 years ago. Really beautiful curvy horns on the Addax. They extend out about 3 feet.
Wow.
They are critically endangered, so there's only about 300 of those left in the wild. Actually a desert species, so they don't really require any water to survive. Usually they'll go their entire lives without drinking, instead of getting their water from the moisture that's in the vegetation that they eat. Now sharing a home with some of the animals that we've seen out here today is definitely not without its challenges. Some of those predators out there, they can threaten the lives and livelihoods of the people that live nearby the reserve. And historically speaking, wild animals, they have been a source of food for many people. That's why it's important that conservation efforts, they don't just focus on the animals, but they also look at the people that live nearby. Now there are a number of
Jeffrey,
organizations that are working on the problems that we're facing today. And they are trying to help the locals develop alternative methods for protecting their livestock.
Dev.
Also develop a lot of programs to try to reduce or eliminate the economic incentive for poaching in the first place. With a balanced approach to conservation, everybody can win. Humans, animals alike. And conservation, it can succeed. Now, if you're interested in more up-close wildlife viewing opportunities, I definitely recommend checking out the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail. Nice, easy trek through the forest. Usually only takes about 15 minutes. That'll be your best chance of spotting some western lowland gorillas, meerkats. You even have an underwater viewing area for the hippos over there. Now we are just about the end of your Kilimanjaro Safaris tour. I'm going to drop you off right over here at the